What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday here on the ADSR channel. Welcome. My name is Taetro. If you don't know me, I'm an electronic music producer, beat maker. I make tutorials and all that good stuff. And I'm here every single Friday on the ADSR channel. And usually we're trying out, we're always making music, first of all. Then we're usually using different sample packs, different plugins, etc. Today, you all maybe know, I usually use Ableton Live. That's my main DAW of choice. But today, what I have for you is a new piece of software. A little bit new to me, maybe it's new to you as well, but Serato Studio today is what we're working with. So that should be exciting. It's a new way of beat making for me. It's a different kind of workflow, but it is very intuitive. And I would say it's even very beginner friendly, but not limited so much that it's only for beginners, quote unquote. So that's my take. The cool thing about this is, every week we usually do a giveaway. If you've been coming through every Friday, we usually give away like either a plugin or a pack or something. But today everybody gets a giveaway because we're giving away 2 months free of Serato Studio. So if you are looking for that new DAW or like new software, or you just need a little inspiration in your workflow, today is your day, because the link in the description gets you 2 months free of Serato Studio. That's for everybody in the chat today. And then later on, one person will be chosen from the chat to win a $60 ADSR credit. So you can get all kinds of packs and all kinds of new sounds from the ADSR store. So I will call for a certain type of emoji to be dropped somewhere about halfway through today's stream, and we'll call for that giveaway then. But yeah, so everybody wins today. To add on to all this, if you get the 2 months free of Serato Studio, which you can with the link in the description, I just did a whole video tutorial series using Serato Studio. Did like a few different genres, lo-fi, hip-hop, trap. And then also just did a couple like music theory type things, like trying different rhythms, how to sample in the software, which we're going to get into a lot of that today, but I have there's like 6 videos we put up on the ADSR channel, I think, or something like that, with just digging into Serato Studio. It's a very capable piece of software, and it's going to be a fun time. But I want to say hello to everybody who's in chat. What's going on, Josh? Mr. Mark 1, hello. Mr. Mark 1 says, yes, I use Serato Studio and Serato Sample, so I'm interested in watching Taetro and seeing his workflow. I'm excited for it. Suru, hello. Fireball, Enigmatic Onion, Noors Music, thank you for all the Taetro gang that's showing up. Some members from the channel crossing over. I appreciate it. This should be a fun stream today. I wouldn't say I'm as proficient in Serato Studio as I am in Ableton Live, but I'm pretty good at it, I think. We'll try a couple different types of tracks, and we'll kind of walk through the workflow as we go for some of you that are maybe new. So what do we have here? Oh, by the way, I have my trusty Akai MPK Mini, which we'll use in conjunction with this Serato Studio, but we'll also perhaps use my just normal computer keyboard. Like, this is by Lawfree. Everybody always asks me what brand it is, but Serato Studio has some cool functionality when it comes to using your just straight up QWERTY keyboard with the DAW, with the software. So it's accessible to anybody, even if you don't have a MIDI controller. But here we are at the start screen. Of course, we can start a new beat or a new remix, and we can even start a beat with a template. But I'm just going to go ahead and start a new beat from a blank slate. Hey, what's going on? SDK and Samuel Messiah. Good afternoon, Maria. Hello. Good morning for me. Good afternoon for you. Noise Music says, I have both Serato and Studio. I can't live without Serato Sample, lol. That's great. The thing about it is, I guess Serato, I think most people would probably associate with DJing software, and they've brought a lot of their sensibility when it comes to DJing to this now music creation software. So it informs kind of like their sampling process. It informs like how the files are sorted in crates and things like that. So there's a few holdovers from the DJ world that I think work well in this music production world. Nonetheless, here we are. Here's our interface of what we're working with. So top left panel here, we have basically whatever instrument we have loaded, and we've loaded with a stock clean 808 drum kit. So we get waveforms for each different sound. I'm just playing that on my pads here on the MPK. Move that over. So that's pretty intuitive. But like I said before, like with your QWERTY keyboard, you'll notice that each one of those samples are numbered. So if you have a QWERTY keyboard with numbers, which you probably do, you will notice that we can actually play. Did I just lower the volume? What happened? Yeah. You'll notice that we can just play with our keyboard and it assigns them via numbers. So that's cool. And that will cross over to melodic instruments as well. So yeah, this top left panel here, obviously we have our whatever instrument or sample we have loaded. So right now we have a drum kit. For the individual pads, you'll see that that's changing right there because we can change them individually. We can change filter, and you see that that only has affected that clap right there. So a little EQ and mixer setting right there on each individual pad. We can shift the key of these individual samples. We can change the attack and release. Attack, obviously shaving off that initial attack. Release, we won't really hear much of that here, but obviously turning up the release time plays through the sample longer after releasing the pad. Obviously, we have basic settings up here like tempo and key. We'll get into talking about the key later, but what's interesting is once you set your project key, it will adjust everything. Everything that is melodic or harmonic in the project will adjust if you shift that later. So we'll experiment with that in a moment. Would somebody like to give me a nice tempo, something between like 80 and 100? Or something between, how about 70 and 100? A tempo that we can make a nice beat to. I'll take the first one that I see in chat. We can turn our mixer on and off. We can reveal an FX window, which we will adjust in a moment. Turn our metronome on and off. There's quantize mode, so that will quantize everything that we record in. And for the moment, that's pretty much it in this top left half. And let's move on over to this second window here, which is, you know, kind of like a step sequencer. This is where all of our instruments will be stored. So right now, like it's kind of like our tracks, you could say. All right, the first tempo I saw was from Suru at 85. Thank you. 85. Oh, I'm on my numbers. That's why that's happening. There we go. 85 BPM. Thank you. And somebody else can give me a key signature. Can be major or minor. I'll take it. First one that I see. Okay, anyway. This panel right here, like I was saying, this is where our instruments will be stored. So right now we just have a drum kit, but we also have a step sequencer, as you can see. And really quick, let me just throw another instrument in here. Obviously, we can click Add Instrument, and it has added an instrument. Now, this is where the kind of language of DJing comes into play because they're called decks. So I added an instrument track, but it's called Deck 1. And obviously, we don't have any synth on it yet. However, we can add a synth. Let me just add this first one in from our library down below and drop it onto that. And you see that now we have a drum kit and an instrument. And you can see how I click between them. And for drums, I get this nice step sequencer with each of the sounds. And I can immediately start programming into that and drawing into it. Let's just do a very basic pattern here. What is that first key signature I see? B minor. Sir, I'm going to give it to Norris because you gave us the tempo. Norris says G minor. Perfect, perfect. We'll go in G minor. It's not going to affect us right now anyway. So right now, I'm just step sequencing in some notes, literally just double clicking in these slots. And that's pretty straightforward, I would say. Rhythmically, there's also this other cool feature called Make, where we can generate rhythms. So, as you can see, there's a bunch of genres here. So I could select trap as the genre, and as soon as I click this, it generates a pattern for me. If I click that again, it's going to keep generating patterns that are appropriate to that, that genre. It gives us a nice variation of different patterns, which is cool. And like I said, you can switch through different genres, and obviously it will give you different types of rhythms based on that genre, and whether or not it works with the particular drum kit you have in mind, like this clean 808 drum kit that we have. You know, that's up to you to select the proper drum kit for whatever you're trying to make. With that said, you know, we talked a little bit about this. We threw in a synth that we haven't used yet. Obviously, for the drums here, we can adjust the grid. So we could say ×2, so it's half. Or we could go to a triplet grid for each individual row. I think that's pretty useful. We can also clear the whole pattern, add some swing, and we can even add automation for different parameters. We won't get too deep into that, but that is possible. Now I'm in draw mode. I can be in either draw mode or select mode. So very, very useful. And that is all to say, yes, we can step sequence in notes, but we can also record in notes. So let me turn the metronome on and let this roll. So I hit record. You can see it gave me 1 bar of counting. It counted to 4 before it started rolling. And now we're just record armed. So I can record this. And that stays in record mode so I can continue to add in layers. So there we go. I have to toggle off record to not continue to overdub. Of course, you know, one thing I see is this open hi-hat is a little bit loud, and luckily I could just go into my mixer and turn that individual sound down. I can turn my metronome off. Maybe I want to bring down the closed hi-hat as well, and maybe even shave off some of the highs in the closed hi-hat. Maybe I even want to adjust the pitch of the open hi-hat. I can do that here with that key shift. And we've built a very, very basic pattern. And it did indeed quantize for me. It did like a little record quantization because that is toggled on right here. That's that little cue. You can obviously turn that off if you want to be not snapped to the grid. But if we do a drop-down menu here, you can adjust like what it actually quantizes to. So that was pretty simple. Now you notice that we just did a 1 bar loop. Obviously we can make that bigger. See, it says right here, scene size 1. We can double that up to be 2 bars. Now, when I just did that, it actually just copied what we already made over to the second bar, which is very convenient. So you can maybe work on a 1 bar loop and then double it up to 2 or 4 as you continue to work. So that's fun. I'm going to clear that grid for now. Let's drop in actually a drum kit from Serato's library that is maybe a little bit cooler than that stock 808 drum, you know? So we have different drum kits from all different artists. There's even some drum kits from Decap, which is really cool. Let's drop them in and see what they sound like. That typical hard kick. Love that. Let's keep going. I want to go through a couple more. It's a slap kit. Nice. Maybe let's find something a little more chill. Well, we have studio trap drums. Let's see what that is. I like that one. Seems to have a lot of good samples in it. Obviously, we can swap out each of these individual samples too. Let's keep on moving right along. So, yes, that's what we did so far. We can build up sections, which I guess we can get into here. Let's maybe just start building up some patterns, and then we'll add some synth to it as well, because I know I added the synth earlier. I don't even know what it sounds like. Yes. All right. So we'll get into the harmonic and melodic instruments in a moment, because there's some other cool features like auto chord feature, and then we can start to add some effects as well. But let's just lay down a rhythm for the moment. Turn my metronome back on. Where's that rim shot? Let me find it. That click, that's what I want. Yeah, let's just lay down a very, very basic rhythm here, and we'll be good to go. 2, ready, go. messed it up. Undo. That's fine. I'm gonna keep overdubbing the, where did that click go? What's above that? Oh, I don't want that. Go ahead, turn off that metronome. Great, we got a very basic groove here. Like I said, let's dive in and check out some of these synth sounds. And then we'll get into a little bit of sampling maybe. Or maybe we should start with a sample actually. That might be actually easier. So I already added that synth, you all saw that. And we can also add a sample. Now, if I scroll down here and I go to my files and I find my sample pack folder, I've got a cool pack today from ADSR, which if you, when I announce the giveaway emoji later in about 15 minutes, if you get that credit for the ADSR store, maybe you'll be able to spend it on a nice ADSR pack because there's lots of cool packs here. It's called Blue something, a lot of good, Blue Dream. We've got lots of cool samples in here, melodic samples and stuff. So let's find one that works. Hey, this one's in our original key. Let me find something a little longer. I'm gonna browse through a few of these and we're gonna end up chopping this up. You'll see what I mean. Oh, that's nice. Let me just keep browsing through. Love that. Wonder what they've got for synths. That's a lot. There's a lot going on in that. That's cool too. Oof. Let's just play around with this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to drop this in and bada bing, we have our sample window. Now, as you can see, it has already put in some cue points for us, meaning like it's chopped it into these 8 parts. But we can click the find samples button and it will try to find samples for us, which is cool. So I would probably chop this at each individual chord. Where is that second chord? So it's already, what do I want to say? It's already transposed the sample for us. There we go. And we can set start and end points to this. Let's half that. I mean times 2. There we go. That's so fun. I'm gonna find a different sample though. That's a little easier to work with. Let's try that. I'm gonna drop this one in. So this one, so you can see it's basically already populating a bunch of different types of, we like that. That's another holdover from the DJ world. It's placed in a bunch of these points where it thinks interesting samples might be. And we don't have to keep all of these is the thing. And these are actually corresponding to the chromatic keys on my keyboard. But just like before, it's also gonna adapt to your QWERTY keyboard as well. That's what the numbers are for. Now, this is all in key. It's because we've set the key at the top. So we can actually set it to be either play in key or chromatic. And have access to all the notes. That shows up more when we're here, like in this synth. So there's chromatic. Or just in key. Back to the sample. So I like a couple of these. Like I like this one, for instance. I'm going to favorite it. And I'm going to show you why I'm favoriting it in a moment. Let's find another one to favorite. That's a good one too. So now what I can do is click Find Samples, and what it'll do is shuffle around those cue points, but the ones that I just starred, it won't shuffle those around. It seems like we've gotten a few good chops out of this. Let me see if this goes well with the drums at all. This is where playing with this release might help. Yeah, there's so many possibilities here. Let's browse through a couple more samples to chop up. Maybe one of these guitar samples will work well. I think that one's cool because this is going to find some cool cue points because it's a little more chopped up. There we go. Let's try that out. That's one that I want. Or why not? Let's roll with that. 1, 2. Well, I think I'm playing a 4-bar loop actually. So what I'm going to do now is just make that 4. And it's copied the drums across too, which we'll be able to go back and edit if we want. That's what I want. All right, let's try it. Ready, go. I'm cool with that chop. So I left overdub on, which I often do as a mistake. And what I've actually done is recorded this as automation. I'm gonna undo that. That's like a very common mistake that I make, is accidentally recording automation and leaving the record overdub on. But I wanted to just overall filter this sound. And maybe we could even do that to this whole drum. Maybe some of these highs and mids can come out. Get a slightly bit of a lo-fi sound. Now we haven't discussed effects yet, and you might not even see an effects window yet. That's because it's not on screen. So if I go to effects, I toggle that on and off, we get a window, and you can see that we obviously get it on both sides of the screen here. And so it works the same way, like how we can edit each of these different pads here. You can add effects to each of the different ones too. So that's what this selection is for. We could add individual effects to individual chops. And then, just McCaffrey chimes in, what's this all about exactly? But then on this side, this is going to affect the entire instrument, right? So we have a few different effects here. Let's obviously add, I think the one that makes most sense is probably a reverb. And we get a knob. I think that fits really well. And this number right here will actually affect all of your time-based effects. So that's your timing. It's probably less noticeable on this delay, but I mean on this reverb, but if we do something with like a delay, you will hear that rhythm change. It gets a little chaotic though. So let's just stick with our reverb. Well, what's delayed reverb sound like? All right, I'm cool with that. You all know that I love myself some sidechain compression, and luckily we have two sidechain settings here: soft sidechain and hard chain. And you can obviously select the source, but it's smart enough to say, "Hey, we're going to take the kick from your drum kit." So that's very easy. And then we just dial it up to taste, of course. All right, let's find a nice bass synth to play. Instruments. So obviously there's a selection of instruments here. And what kind of basses do we have? Oh, a Reese bass. So another important thing about adapting the key is now that I'm using my keyboard, how can I show this? So the track is in G minor, right? But anybody who knows what I'm about to play knows it should sound like C major. But that definitely sounds like minor, right? And that's because it's just adapted the white keys on my keyboard to being the proper scale. So that's really a G. You notice now I turned play in key off. Now I play a G and I hear a G. But if I turn play in key on, it adapts. So any scale that you're in will adapt to your white keys on the keyboard. So it's a little bit easier for those of you who don't know how to play keys. So I jumped into adding this bass here. I think it sounds great. I think one thing we'll absolutely need to do, and you can see that it actually has effects already on it, but they are turned off. So let's actually hear what the sound sounds like with some of these effects. That's fun. Brightener. Limiter. Whoa, crunchy. I don't know if we want to go that hard. I like it. Let's keep trying a couple different basses. A saw bass. Ooh, an 808 knock. Why not? Probably not the best for this. I actually like the Reese bass that I had in the first place. Where did it go? Let's jump back up to it. And I don't think I need this stutter fader, so what I'll do is just swap it out for the sidechain. Hard sidechain. I have to keep remembering to adapt my scale. What's up, Vernaxolo? Cool. I'm gonna keep browsing through some bass sounds though. I think that musical idea works, but let's just try that. That could be fun. I want to show you the keys, and then we'll press record. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've recorded. I'm turning off the overdub so I don't get messed up. I'm going to bring my levels down a bit across the board. Back to the sample. Bring that down. Now there's a couple notes I would like to change. You notice we get that audio waveform right away, which is really cool. But I can look at this just like a step sequencer, like MIDI piano roll basically. And I want that. I want to get rid of that note actually. And I want to make that note, whoops, wrong button. I want to make that note one note higher. There we go. And I probably don't need to hard sidechain the bass here in this instance. Now I'm curious to see, I like the sample and all. Where's the sample? Here it is. See, which pads do I use? Wonder what this sounds like down an octave. Let's try it all. Down an octave. There's gonna be one more that I gotta change. Yep, that one. Minus 12. That's probably a little easier to listen to. Now, one thing I haven't talked about is like structuring and how to make sections, right? So we've just built up a very, very basic pattern, and you can see there's a little section down here where it already says intro. And what we can do here is build up different sections of our song. Think of them like scenes. So if I click here and it'll just copy the scene that I'm currently on. And why don't we rename this and just call it verse for now. And let's go back to the intro section for a moment. And actually, let's just play. Let's take out the drums in the intro. I'm going to clear the drums. And I'm going to clear the bass. And let's just have the sample playing for the intro. So we'll have 4 bars of this. And then I'm going to click on verse. And it will cue up the new section. What's up, Diana Fernandez? Yes, bringing that octave down is clutch. I like that so far. It's a pretty basic beat, but let's keep rolling. I wonder, so there's vocal samples in this. I want to show one other way of sampling. So I want to find like a single note. These are all epic samples. I can use that for sure. And I can use that. I'm going to use this one instead. This pluck. Now instead of chopping it, and I'm going to announce the giveaway right after I explain this. Instead of chopping it, I am going to make it an instrument instead. So we can do that by, where's the button here? So obviously, this is one way. I also should have mentioned that there's mono and poly. So maybe you can make the chops kind of go over each other. And then it can either play through a chop. That's what that setting does. Or it can, react to you pressing the key, of course. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. We can, this is the sync menu for syncing with your key signature. And I also didn't mention that we can reverse samples. which that sounds so epic. So it's that. So any of you that have used Serato Studio, or Serato Sample, I should say, are probably used to this. And you can see what this is doing now that I'm in play in key. It's making it so that I'm playing one note in key across the board here. I want to delete this. So that's pretty dope. So that's the difference there. We go from chopping it on the different parts to, okay, now we're just playing in key. Like a keyboard. So like I was saying at the top, giveaway for everybody today is you can get 2 months of Serato Studio for free with the link in the description. Not only that, but I just did a whole series of videos with ADSR on Serato Studio. So if you download it, get the free trial, the free 2 months, and then follow along with those videos, you probably get along pretty quickly because we cover a lot of concepts in those videos. But then also today, another giveaway for one lucky winner who, let's see, I guess we'll do, it's appropriate anyway. Let's drop your favorite musical emoji in the chat and we will select somebody at the end who has dropped the emoji in the YouTube chat to win a $60 voucher for ADSR. So you can pick up perhaps the pack that I'm working with today or any of the other stuff on the ADSR store. I don't know. You see me work every week now with different ADSR sounds and plugins and stuff like that. Also, Trap Drive is free this month on ADSR, so you get that with every purchase. So your favorite musical emoji. All right. So my whole thing here is I want to just grab that first note. I'm going to set start and end points to this. But let me zoom in here. Crop that appropriately. Playing key. Hey, it's Drunk Bishop. What's up? Now I've halved it, and we can also turn glide up. Let's see how this sounds. Probably too slow. And we could also reverse it. Let's see if that just sounds funny, so I want to try it again. All right, I like that. Reversed sound. We've slowed the tempo down 75%. Hey, I like that. That's pretty cool. But let's add some effects to it to make it sound even cooler. First of all, some reverb. And last in the chain here, I'm obviously going to put the side chain, which will help it blend a lot better. Cool. I might switch up the style of this track because I really like the sound and I might want to build up a whole thing around the sound. Oh, we have a bit crusher. Let's pull it back. I like that. I can barely hear it when I turn it down like that. Lo-fi crush. I love the diversity and concept by Taetro. Thank you. I appreciate that. record that because why not? I am going to hit record. We hopefully will remember what I'm going to play. Just going to play that last bar again. There we go. Now, of course, we want to continue on in building sections, right? So maybe I want to copy this exact section that I just made. Well, let's go back to the blue verse version, verse 1, essentially, and let's clear out that synth. So now we have intro. That's just the sample. And then we have the verse, which adds bass and drums. And then we have verse 2, which adds that synth. Now, I would like to add some little hi-hat fills and stuff in here. So why don't we go ahead and do that? What does the swing sound like? That's funny. I grid. I'm going to ×2, which is going to help me add in these fills. And I'm going to go into draw mode. I'm going to go do this bar by bar, and I'm just going to add in a few little stutters, hi-hat stutters here. That one's a little much. All right, I'm a fan. I bet we could kill this sample though, probably for now. I like that. Let me just do that for now. Clear. What's missing? We need like a bell pattern or something. Let me duplicate this. So what's interesting is when you're on a section, if you just hover over a blank section slot, you can automatically copy it. Very convenient, and then it color codes it. And that's gonna come in handy when we start to talk about arranging a beat in Serato Studio. So there is a song view, which we will get to in a moment. But let me just add maybe one more layer, and I'll demonstrate that. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Make sure you drop your favorite musical emoji because we will be doing a $60 credit for ADSR for one lucky winner. But if you're interested in getting something new today, you can and get 2 months free of Serato Studio with the link in the description. You can follow along with all my other videos here on the ADSR channel talking about the process. But this is a good overview. So if you vibe with this kind of workflow and you're kind of liking how it looks, it's definitely worth a try. What did I say I was going to do? Instruments. What do we have for piano and keys? Oh, hello. Maybe another synth? Could it be? Oh, I didn't even show off the auto chord, which I definitely want to do because that is a very convenient feature. Is this a polyphonic instrument? It is. Okay, but maybe there's a better synth to try this on, like this one. Yes. Okay, so we have an auto chord feature. So not only can we straight up play in key, basically no piano knowledge necessary, but we can also add chords automatically. You can see I am playing one note. Which is super, super convenient. So it basically creates a chord for each scale degree in key. But not only that, we can go ahead and add notes. So right now it's playing basic triads. It's playing 3 notes, which is, the most basic version of a chord, a triad. But we can continue to add notes to add complexity. So that's 4 notes. 5. And then we get up to that. Now this works better for some and not others. But it's a way of making easy chord progressions, and even with some complexity to them, adding extensions. The last thing I'll talk about for this is feel. You all see me try to emulate like a rolled sound. Like, for instance, let me turn off auto chord. If I wanted to play chord, I want it to sound like this instead of just this. I want it to roll, right? That's more natural. Well, in the auto chord mode, we have a feel knob, which gives us this very natural kind of strum or roll. So the higher we turn that up, the longer it takes to scroll through those notes. That's very, very convenient, I think. Personally. So that's a very, very cool feature. So I don't think this necessarily fits here. I just really want to make sure I was showing that off. I want to grab a different kind of synth though. Gonna do rolled chords here. I'm over the chord function, but it's an important one, I think, because there's a lot of people out there that maybe don't have as much piano skill as is required with a lot of music making software, and it's really hard to get your foot in the door making music if you don't have that skill. But not in Serato Studio, really. It's a good entry level. I do think people should learn keyboarding because it makes things so much easier, but the sample then plug in here. Well, it seems that like it's just built in, like the same sampling engine is here. But I've never used Serato. I've never used strictly Serato sample, so maybe you all know the differences better than I do. See the chat talking about Serato sample and all that. Tell me about it. Tell me more about it. So again, we're building up sections here, and I also forgot to turn off overdub again, but I caught myself, don't worry. Wow, this track has evolved far beyond this original guitar sample, hasn't it? Got our intro section, verse. You all notice that automatically like drops in on the downbeat. I think likely what needs to happen is I gotta copy this and I'm interested. Actually, I'm deciding. Decisions. We have to transition somehow. I guess it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, why don't we just have that synth come in on its own for a moment? Maybe with the bass or maybe with kick. There should be some difference here. Let's go ahead and selection tool. I'm going to delete everything but the kick in this pattern, just to try it out. A little introduction to that synth there. This will all make sense. I forgot to delete the snare here when we start arranging, which I'll get into now because we're getting close to the top of the hour. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm here every Friday, by the way. So make sure you tune in. There's always a giveaway. Somebody always wins something cool. Let me quickly demonstrate song view, right? So you see I just clicked that tab. So basically this bottom panel, you have access to your library, which gives you access to all your effects, all your samples, any of your plugins, external files, etc., which is great. But then if I push this button here, it moves over and we get song view, which is essentially a way to arrange our track. Now you can see that it already has put in our intro. And now we're working on a timeline. So that did not continue to loop because we need to plug more stuff in. And it makes it really simple because you literally just click and drag and put it in like blocks. So here we are. I gotta make sure I click down in this window to play the song. And here, when I click that master button, we do get access to some mastering effects, which of course we can add on whatever we like. Let me go back to scenes for now because I'm going to continue to add that in. But yeah, like I said, it's as simple as dragging stuff in like that. So I know these are all titled all funny, but you could obviously rename them and be a lot more organized than I am. I should also note that you're not just limited to these slots right here. There's an arrow, so you can continue to build and build. Let's play this from the beginning. And let's view that master window again. Master compressor. Now we'll see the wave change in real time, which I think is very helpful. There's a brightener EQ. And there's a limiter. And that's just the default chain that's on here. You obviously don't have to do that. But being able to see what the effects do, so like those of you who are interested in mixing and mastering and stuff, like we can literally see what this limiter is doing to the mix, how much it's cranking it. So you can see that in the waveform now. So that's actually really helpful. So you can understand what you're actually doing to the sound. Like here's another spot where I cranked it. Now that's not like printed on, because as we go through it again, it will refresh the waveform, as you can see there. What's up, Destruction Sounds? What's up? Nice to see you. So you can add audio. I see that question, Mr. Mark. You can add audio that you can literally drop into your master. So that's useful. I imagine that would be useful for adding things like effects and stuff, but it's also useful for adding something like a vocalist. If you maybe exported a beat and you had a vocalist or a rapper or somebody get on the track for you, and you would just drop it in right there. I met with Serato ahead of doing the video series with ADSR, and they talked about, you know, they're always looking to add features and they're always looking to improve the features, and it seems like the arranging and the mixing and mastering and stuff is something that they are actively working on adding features to, because right now it's slightly limited, and the software is really focused on the overall like creation and having the ability to make the beat making process like a little more accessible. That seems to be like a core mission of theirs for sure. I guess one thing I should demonstrate to prove, and hopefully this works, fingers crossed, I think it will, but we should be able to just to change the key of the track on the fly. Let me go to the spot where the sample is also playing, this first verse section. So I can, this is super convenient because say you are working with a vocalist or something, or you need to change the key to a track or whatever it may be, being able to just quickly on the fly, boom, it's in a different key. We're a full step lower or a full step higher than we originally were. Superman, hello, this is Serato Studio. a basic trap beat here, but I think it was a good demonstration of the software and what's possible with it. Does anybody have any questions that maybe I can answer, but maybe you can say, hey, click on this, or what does this do, etc., etc. I'll take anything like that. The pack that I used today, for those of you that are interested, that I got that initial guitar chop from, let me go back down to files. It's called Blue Dream, Chill Trap, and R&B Melodies, and this is an ADSR pack. There's lots of good material here for when you're making your next drill album, perhaps when you're if you need those heavy 808s. There's a lot of good 808s, not just drill. We have lots of good guitar loops, not just the one we used. Stuff here for trap, lo-fi. I mean, it says R&B in the title as well. These are some really nice chords. I mean, that's you throw that into the sample chops and you're good to go. How easy would it be to make a track with that sample that I just played before? Where did it go? That's originally at 80. Let's try something. Let's just try to just play around for the end here. Could go terribly. Let's bring it back down to 80. Let's just chop this really quick. Let's record that. It's just a little 2-bar loop. Let's reduce this. Okay. I mean, this is just, I just want to demonstrate, because this is just an easy way to start a song. Like, it's like a cheat code almost. And then we go to drums and we find a drum kit. I saw a boom bap kit. I haven't even heard this yet, but let's give it a shot. What's that hi-hat? Yeah. And how would this go? Something like... So I'm gonna maybe put the metronome on, turn record quantize off, and see if we can do this like little boom bap thing. So like a little bit laid back, you know, filter it. I did it again where I recorded the automation. I always forget to do that. Like Machine works like that too. It just stays in overdub mode. We go back to this piano loop here and we just quickly add a side chain. I mean, in here you have your next big lo-fi album, right? Where are the instruments? Next giveaway at Taetro finger ring. Does it have to be like my actual ring? That would be funny. That would be great if the brand who makes these rings hit me up though. I'm leaving quantize off for now, and I'm going to double this to 4 bars. doing anymore, but we shifted into some kind of lo-fi thing. All right, folks, we're getting to the end of the hour here. I hope I didn't miss any quick questions here at the end. I mean, you want to just add a bass to this and call it a day? That's easy. I don't know why it's such a high note, though, for the preview. Congrats to Maria, who has won the $60 voucher at ADSR Sounds. Just try to record it. I don't know what this bass line is. And we got bonus giveaway in the chat. Shout out to Nora's Music and Mikael on Facebook. You have won the pack that I was working with today. Nice. Drifted into lo-fi land here, folks. So thank you all so much for tuning in. As usual, I am here every Friday on the ADSR channel. And I hope you enjoyed this session with Serato Studio. Make sure you pick up your 2 months free of Serato Studio. It's in the description down below. And when you do that, I've got a whole series of tutorials with Serato Studio on this very channel, on ADSR's channel. Lo-fi, trap. I mean, there's some long videos on there. We got like half-hour long tutorials, I believe. So that's good. And follow along with those. Pick it up. Maybe you just need a creative refresh. Maybe you've never tried Serato Studio. Maybe you have. Maybe you just need to try something new. Give it a shot. There's a sale too for anyone else interested. Yes, good to know. And also, there's a free plugin for every purchase on ADSR Sounds this month. It's Trap Drive, which I kind of demoed, I think, in a past live stream. But yeah, I'm here every Friday. Show up, same time, same place, making music, different packs, different plugins. I think we'll be back to Ableton Live next week. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. I just posted a new tutorial on my own channel today. If you type my name into YouTube, Taetro, you should be able to find my channel pretty easily. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all. I see you all in the chat still. Nora's, Drunk Bishop, David Kovac. Shout out to Maria, Mr. Markman, Superman. All the folks who came over from my channel, thank you so much. Thanks for supporting over here. And thanks to all the new faces too. Make sure you follow me also on Twitter at Nick Taetro, Nicktaetro. On Instagram, Taetro, Taetro as usual. I post there daily. And then check out the new tutorial on my channel currently. I also stream 3 times a week on my channel, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We do all kinds of cool music production stuff. It's a good time. But hey, thank you all so much for watching. This has been Taetro for ADSR. I will see you all next Friday.